forward in enough of a large way regarding it to dispel the disinfo of it. So now we have this other big psyop that came along in the early 2000s and is still ongoing. And it's quite sad that people believe the nonsense that is put forward by this psyop. Now we're going to talk about modern psyops that people have really latched onto as a religion before we get into some ancient ones. The date of the Hitler was the good guy psyop began around the early 2000s to the present, and I'm going to say conservatively. It probably goes back before that. The psyop type is a disinfo psyop. The public sell of this psyop, largely through books and documentaries that are complete fabrications of human history and lying to people to get people to believe this psyop, was that Hitler and the Nazis were actually on the side of right during World War II, and the historical accounts of World War II regarding the evils of Nazism are fabricated. And again, it is not to say that there are not mistakes and or even deliberate disinformation injected into history. But the whole point is they want to sell people on that notion to such an extent that they then take the side of the Nazis, and in doing so, look ridiculous. You know, you're going to advocate on the side of a totalitarian regime that brainwashed their population through occultic methods and say that they were the good guys. You know, yes, our society is doing that largely because the Nazis never really gave up, and they went underground and they reformulated, and they and the communists and technocrats ultimately shook hands behind our backs and then said, we'll defeat America and ultimately the world, create a unified one world system, you know, a new world order, a great reset, and then we'll divide the spoils of war in the aftermath after we get our main enemies out of the way. So the true purpose of this psyop, to get people to believe in revisionist history and to believe that Hitler was the good guy, is to associate those gravitating to the belief in this psyop with the general freedom movement, to then, in a guilt by association identification, to associate the freedom movement in turn with racism, Nazism, and white supremacy. So you see, they can paint people as total extremists who believe that Hitler was the good guy and that the Nazis were the good guys in World War II, and who want a form of neo-Nazism to rule over the world. You're going to associate this with people who are simply advocating for freedom, because many people in the freedom movement, because of their unsophisticated psychology and ability to reason and come to accurate conclusions about true world history, latch on to this psyop operation and believe in it like a religion. And it's still ongoing. I mean, this became very popular around 2013, 14, 15, many documentaries released. And this psyop is still around, still ongoing. You still have tons and tons and tons of people in the freedom movement who buy into it and believe it. And it's a shame. It's a shame, because intelligent adults should know better, and that's the problem. Many people within the freedom movement itself, and even the anarchist community, are not intelligent adults. That's the problem. That's the sad fact of the matter. And that's why they're able to get away with convincing them of psyops like this.